I'm French. I'm living here since 6 months now, and I was working as graphic designer in an agency here, and I'm graphic designer since 10 years now, yeah, a long time, and I paint since I'm 15 years old. I started on the subway. I wanted to learn and every day. So I was always with my sketchbook, drawing every people. So sometimes I have funny story about this. And I never stop because I think it's very good for me to draw, and I can enjoy the moment. I like the emotion of people. Because when I draw someone, I want to research what he thinks, how he is feeling, and I like to test emotional things. So normally it's people and much more the skin, the details of someone.
Greeting from Vngncb on VTC10 Netviet. I'm Vngncb. Gió paper is one type of traditional material of Vietnamese people for painting, and we often see the Đông Hồ paintings using the gió paper. But in today's program, we'll discover the story of one foreigner using Vietnamese traditional gió paper to introduce her art. Her name is Marie. First of all, thank you very much, Marie, for joining our program today.
Thank you.
So Marie, you have stayed in Vietnam for 6 months already. Initially, what has brought you here to Vietnam?
I come here for work. So I worked for a company here, and I stay 6 months for this company, and I did illustration, a lot of illustration and graphic design for this company here, and some product design.
So 6 months in Vietnam, what impression of Vietnam have you got?
When I came here, I was surprised because a lot of things are different, and when I come to the airport I was like, oh my god, what I'm doing here. A lot of car, a lot of motorbike, a lot of traffic. I have never seen that, and I was like, this is a crazy city. And after I enjoy it, but it takes a long time to be okay on the street. I was very afraid of this, and a lot of noise, a lot of activity on the street, and I was like, my god, everything can happen on the street, and every day here is different.
You're an artist, so how has your life in Vietnam inspired you to create an artwork?
Yeah, I like to... For me, art is to express myself, express a city, my feelings. So I always use this way to express what I'm thinking, what I am living. It's like a story of life for me. If I put it on a paper, it makes sense. If I don't put it on a paper, what I'm living doesn't have sense. It's very strange, but it's like this.
And I know that you have done a lot of paintings here about Vietnam on the gió paper. So tell me, how did you get into this kind of painting?
I'm thinking in France, if I'm going here, it's to learn a new technique, to discover new material. And I went to fine art here, see what people did, and I see the paper, so I wanted to test it, see what happened when I put my ink on this paper, and I was okay with this paper because this is traditional, it's an old paper, and I see it works with Chinese ink, and I wanted Chinese ink to, when I mix with Eric pictures, there is a lot of color, so I wanted something more brute for the street, black and white. In Vietnam, I did a lot of sketch. on the street. And when I come to my house, I say, okay, I did this today, this week, and I want to sometimes improve one technique. So here, I wanted to improve watercolor, and I wanted to do a new work with Eric, the photographer. So everything starts by my sketchbook. I look, I take my time, and after I say, I should go and work much more for this idea, and I start to develop this for 2 months and sometimes much more.
Vietnam is changing. Everything here is a new thing when a new day comes. And Hanoi bears a typical feature for the first visit of those working or traveling to this land. It is the traffic, the streets, and social activities here.
It's too noisy. What is this traffic? I have never seen this before. So it was full of people. So it was like, how many people live here? I don't understand. And everybody live on the streets and nobody live in the house. So I was very surprised about this. Because in France, everything is expensive. So we stay at home, we cook at home, and we live much more at home. And here, everything happens on the streets. I walk around because I want to take picture of buildings and house here, like architecture edifice. And after I want to draw it to have a memory of my stay here and show things happen on the street. So I'm still with my camera and take different architecture here because architecture are very different. So it's interesting me, and also the life on the street. I take picture of building, the front of the building, no perspective very in front, and because I prefer to draw like this, no perspective, and it can show details of architectures and also details of the street life, because there's a very street life here. Cars, people selling things on the street, people ask you to clean your shoes on the street. I don't know, it's so crazy.
After discovering and finding typical features of Hanoi, Marie returned home and started to draw on the paper what she has already taken on the street.
We don't have the paper in France, and I wanted to use new things the country offered me. So it was the paper, Chinese ink, and I wanted to experience and test a new practice. I get this from the project. It's an association, and they create themselves this paper in Taiho. But to work, it was very hard for me because I didn't know how the ink will very appear. It's very hard but interesting to experiment this new paper. And this is very fragile, so I need it to be very sensible when I make it.
6 months staying and working in Vietnam is the time that Marie has made 25 paintings on the paper. Apart from that, she also thought of cooperating with a friend photographer, Eric Huỳnh. It is the combination between paintings and photos in one frame. Those artworks have been introduced in one exhibition about Hanoi recently.
This paper is created for Chinese ink, and I wanted to contrast with the pictures of Eric, who are with a lot of color. So I wanted to do something in black and white to contrast with Eric pictures. Sometimes I try with acrylic and watercolor because I didn't want only black and white for this exhibition. I wanted to surprise me and surprise people who are coming on the exhibition. I like to test new things. So.
You have traveled to different places in Hanoi, different streets in Hanoi already to discover the life and got inspiration for your art. So tell me about your impression through the trips here in Vietnam to make your art work.
It's always a lot of people everywhere, a lot of activity. I don't know, you walk 2 minutes, you have one food, another food, you can drink, you can do everything on the street, and I'm very surprised. You have the taxi, motorbike, hey oh, hey oh. You are always attracted by something. There is always something happen, different of the day after, and sometimes I stop on a coffee. I start to draw with a coffee man or woman, and we start to talk. Every day is different here.
And your friend Eric Huỳnh, the photographer, has told me that at each time point you draw it differently. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, I wanted to try another way to paint. So you have a series with a bicycle, you have a series with motorbike. I change my way of painting, and I use acrylic, I use color for this special series. Because I wanted to show the city is going fast, so I use color and a lot of energy to do this painting. It's not details, but this is paintings from energy, like when the car goes, it goes fast, the motorbike. So I use a different process and a different technique.
So before coming to Vietnam, you use the very normal paper for painting and for drawing, and now this time for about nearly 6 months of using Vietnam's traditional gió paper to paint. Do you feel something different between the two?
Yeah, you have the color, you have the fibers, you have the sensibility, and we need to be very sensitive with this paper, because when you put something inside, his reaction is different. It absorbs the water differently. It can be experimental to use this paper for me.
And let me ask you about your future plan. Do you have any intention to come back to Vietnam and to organize another exhibition about Vietnam on the gió paper?
I don't have plan for moment. I'm living one day is one day and tomorrow I see. It's always like this, and much more here. But I'm thinking, yes, I would like to come back, because many things happen here, and I think I would like to come for the next year, but I don't know exactly when. And if I come here, I want to have to come here with an idea of exhibition.
And once again, thank you very much, Marie, for joining our program today and for your sharing. And we are all looking forward to your upcoming exhibition about Vietnam.
Thank you.
And that's it we have for today's program. And for comment and feedback, don't hesitate to write to us at vngncb@vdc.vn. Once again, Vân Hiệp. Goodbye for now.